There's a debate that comes up constantly in writing communities about whether you should plan your novel in advance or just start writing and see where it goes. Plotters versus pantsers, to use the popular jargon, or outliners versus discovery writers. My view, the debate is mostly a distraction, and obsessing over which camp you're in is a way of not getting on with the work. Ultimately, some writers do better with more structure. Some do better with less. Most do better working somewhere in the middle. Enough of a framework to navigate by, enough flexibility to follow the story when it starts going somewhere unexpected. What nobody does well, regardless of where they sit on that spectrum, is start a novel with nothing. If you start a novel with no sense of the destination, no understanding of the character's core situation, and no idea what the story is about, you don't have discovery writing. You just have wandering happening on the page, and the reader is unlikely to want to just wander along with you. So let me tell you what I think you need before you start writing, and what I think you can leave until later. Before you start, you need to know whose story it is. Not a complete character biography. That level of detail is largely wasted before you've written the book, because characters develop and change as you write them. But you need a clear sense of who is at the centre of this story, what they want, and what's in the way of them getting it. You need to know your ending. Not necessarily every detail of it, but the broad outcome. Where does this story go to? What changes? What resolves? This is a piece most new writers skip. If you don't know where you're going, you can't build towards it. You need a rough sense of the major movements of the story. Beginning, middle, end. Broken down into something more granular than that, but not necessarily into chapter by chapter detail. Think in terms of acts or sequences. What's the situation at the start? What changes it? What's the low point? What drives the final push? 6 to 10 story beats written in plain language is enough to navigate by. What you don't need before you start is a chapter by chapter synopsis, a complete character breakdown for every person who appears in the book, a detailed history of your fictional world, a fully worked out subplot for every secondary character. That level of planning feels like you're doing the work. It looks like progress when you have lots of files in your book folder or lots of pads filled with notes. Mostly, it's just avoidance of the work. Preparation becomes a substitute for writing. The other problem with overplanning is that it can make you inflexible. You've put so much effort into the plan that when the story starts telling you it wants to go somewhere else, and it will, because stories do that, you either ignore it and write something mechanical, or you feel like the plan has failed and you stop. Plans are tools. They should bend and help you, not get in the way. A useful analogy. Before you drive somewhere unfamiliar, you check the route. You know the major roads, the general direction, roughly how long it'll take. You don't map every traffic light. And if there's a diversion, you reroute. The destination doesn't change. How you get there might. Plan like that. Know the destination. Know the major roads. Leave room for the journey. If you're looking for a guided framework for planning your novel, story beats, character foundations, structure, my novel writing course goes into this in detail in a way that will suit both the planner and the pantser in you. The link is in the description below.